Hello, hello. Welcome back to Anthony Collier Music. So today we are going to go through our last part of our series on passing chords and where to use them. I'm going to try to give you the quickest recap I can of the first two parts, and then we'll dive into the third part. So here is my little definition of passing chords. They are tools used to take me to a specific target chord, and they tend to be non-diatonic. I believe each degree in our scale can be approached by at least one specific passing chord. So I'm not going to go over each video again, but in part one we talked about what diminished chords to play over certain degrees, and if you see, these passing degrees are in reference to part two, which I call secondary degrees. In the key of C, C's are 1, D's are 2, E's are 3, F is are 4, G is are 5, A is are 6, B is are 7, back to C. Every other note or all of the black keys that you see can be called secondary degrees. So here's our 1, here's our 2, our sharp 1 or flat 2 is a secondary degree. And we talked about how we have 4 options of chords to play on those specific degrees. And that point leads me to this last section, or this last part of our series, which is the chord option bank for our primary degrees, which is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? It's really a simple chart. This chart is letting us know which quality each degree holds. I look at this chart in 2 different ways, mostly the vertical way, but horizontally has some function as well. So if you see, option 1 is the normal way that we've always understood the quality order in a major key. So the 1 is always going to be major, the 2 is going to be minor, the 3 is going to be minor. Whether it's 7 chords or triad 7 chords. So obviously the 5 can be major or dominant. The 6, 7, 1. If we look at it vertically, and this is how I practice it, I want to know what can I do over this degree. We're in the key of C. What types of C's am I going to be playing? Whether it's, what do we have? Option 1, a major C, or a dominant C, or a sus. Like, all of this can be played over the 1, right? Sometimes I'm going to make the 1 minor, and even in a major key. That might sound weird, but the context is king. And then also I can play an augmented chord over the 1. And I won't bore you too long. I'm not going to go over every single degree. I do want to go over at least 3. We've gone over the 1, the different options that you can do over the 1. Let's go to the 4. Obviously you can do a major. You see there, you can do major 7. Sometimes we make this 4 dominant. That normally happens a lot in blues. So technically we're still in a major key, but the entire genre of blues requires you to play dominance on the 1, on the 4, and the 5. Whereas option 1 shows you we normally just play that major over the 1, the major over the 4. And so I'm just, again, showing you different options. I don't know how many times I'm going to say options, but you'll get the point. I do this so often. The 4 is normally major. Sometimes it's dominant. I love to make it minor. So I can end song. That's like one of my favorite moves. Major triad or major 7. Okay. Sometimes we do make that 4 a sus. And that was a sus 4 specifically. Or I can do a sus 2. The different variations of those sus chords. You can even do a minor 7 flat 5. It's a bit, not a bit, it has a lot of tension to it. But some people can make it work depending on the context, your voice leading. I'm just giving you the option. And the five, um, normally this is dominant most of the time. Sometimes you want to have less tension, so you might just make it a major chord, depending on your song and the genre. You can also make it a minor 7. You can make this a sus. That was a sus4. Let's do sus2. And then an augmented chord. I like that. It feels really cartoony. But yes. So in a nutshell, that is what this chart is giving us, all of our chord quality options for our primary degrees. The previous video talked about all of the chord quality options for our secondary degrees. And when you combine both charts, you have something to do on every single note. So sometimes I like to look at it like this. We're in the key of C. We normally have 7 degrees, right? We talked about this already. When you add these secondary degrees, instead of 7 places to play, we've added 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. With 7 plus 5, that is 12. So you've just went from a 7-degree player, which is there's nothing wrong with that. But as soon as you think in secondary degrees, you've opened up more places for you to go, and I just think that is one of the fundamental things that any improviser needs, is infinite places to go, infinite places to land, infinite places to get them to their target destination. And only having all of these options will provide you with that. All right. Just as a bonus, we see the different options we can have over the 3 and the 7. There's about 2 simpler ways to play a chord over that degree, which are just slash chords. So especially a lot of time in gospel, we don't necessarily play, well, in the key of C, we don't necessarily play a minor chord over the 3, minor triad, or 7. A lot of people play 1 over 3, and that's just an option. Sometimes you can play the dominant 1 over E. Let me show you what that looks like with chord E. It's just a C7 over E. And then also we can play G over B. And you know me, I'd rather just say 5 over 7. 7th degree is B, play the 5. Sometimes you can do the still over the 7, play a dominant chord. Not just a dominant chord, a dominant 5 over B to get you to C. Alright, and then the last thing I'll leave you with is this. I did not include what to do over the flat 7. The flat 7 is obviously one of our secondary degrees. In the key of C, the sharp 1, flat 2, the sharp 2, flat 3, the sharp 4, flat 5, the sharp 5, flat 6, and we didn't talk about the flat 7. So in the key of C, you can play a major chord over that flat 7. Some people like to end songs like this: flat 6, flat 7 to 1. Let's change that major chord to a dominant chord. And great thing about all of this is we're just thinking of qualities. I'm not thinking of anything else. I'm on this B flat. this is my flat 7, I mean, there are only a certain amount of qualities I can play. So I just need to know my different chords. I know how to change this major chord into a dominant chord. Alright, if you enjoyed this video, please like it. Please go ahead and comment anything. Let's have some conversations. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you have a great day.